Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Euroman Movie Report, the show where I talk about a movie I have recently watched at my local movie theatre. This week I'm going to talk about The Dark Tower. The Dark Tower is the long-awaited movie adaptation of one of Stephen King's most popular works, The Dark Tower. And it's set in this alternate dimension which exists behind the regular Earth dimension called Keystone Earth in Stephen King's verse, while the alternate dimension is called Mid-Earth, and here all stuff from which spills over into the Keystone Earth, our Earth. It comes from the homicidal spider clown, and other beings. And the movie adaptation of The Dark Tower has been a long way coming, because originally, if I remember correctly, Paramount Pictures had the option to make The Dark Tower into a film, and the gunslinger character, which is played by Idris Elba in this movie, was, if I remember correctly, originally supposed to have been played by Denzel Washington. But the Paramount version fell through, and now Sony has made a movie adaptation of The Dark Tower. And the guy who directed it was some Danish director called Nikolaj Arcel, who became famous because he made a movie called A Royal Affair, a Danish language movie. And there has been a lot of fuss about The Dark Tower, because I heard the American critics talk about it was very confusing and the dialogue was very and stuff like that. And after having watched it, I must say I agree with the American critics. It's like the movie itself is 90 minutes, and when you watch it, it has clear indications of that someone didn't like the original director's cut and ripped maybe 30 to 45 minutes from the movie, because there are a lot of inconsistencies in the film in general. But the story in this movie is that we have this young boy called, what was his name? Jake, and he sees things, and he has these memories or nightmares about a world where there's this dark tower and a man in black, and I don't mean Johnny Cash, and so on and so on. But his mum and stepdad thinks he's crazy, and but Jake believes that there's another world out there. And spoiler alert, it turns out that there is another world out there. And in that world, a bit of a Lord of the Rings-esque type of world, we have the gunslingers, and they're a bit like the Jedi Knights, or the Riders of Rohan from Lord of the Rings, and they fight this evil which wants to bring down the Dark Tower, which is supposedly some sort of nexus which keeps the different realities in check and so on. In the film there are a lot of references to other Stephen King projects, like when Jake he comes to Mid-Earth. He walks through this destroyed theme park which is called Pennywise, and everyone who knows Stephen King's work knows that this is a reference to the evil clown from It. And then before he enters Mid-Earth, you see a picture of a hotel, which is the hotel from the 70s movie The Shining, which it was also based on another Stephen King work. you see a Saint Bernard's dog, reference to that other Stephen King story about this dog getting rabies, which attacks people, and there's this red old American car in Jake's room, which is also a reference to another Stephen King story. And Jake is, as I said, he's transported to Mid-Earth, and there he meets Idris Elba, who is a gunslinger, and he goes up against Matthew McConaughey, who goes like he's phoning it in, and he says, "Stop breathing," in the Matthew McConaughey way of speaking. And yeah, Idris Elba, he's a good actor, and yeah, but Matthew McConaughey, he seemed bored in his role, and the movie seemed a complete mess. And I don't think we're gonna see a sequel, because the movie does head up for a sequel, but yeah. The kid who plays Jake, he is somewhat okay. It's not like you're gonna say, oh, he's gonna go far, but he does an okay job, and yeah. And there's also a cameo by, I don't remember his name, the guy who played the weapons creator in the RoboCop remake. Very. Not a role you're gonna remember him from in 6 months to a year, or maybe a shorter while. But anyway, yeah, it was boring, and it was confusing. I hope that there exists a director's cut of The Dark Tower somewhere, maybe in Rothman's, the Sony Pictures, Tim Rothman's Walt or something like that. But because this movie is a letdown for everyone who knows Stephen King's work, and even for people who have enjoyed consistent movies previously. So I will not recommend go watching the Dark Tower. So anyway, if I'm gonna rate The Dark Tower, I will give it 2 out of 5 stars. That's it, Euroman of Euroman's Movie Report. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, if you like this review/movie talk, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to watch my previous reviews/movie talks, you can click a link in the description. I will return next weekend with another movie review, at that time of America Made. The movie about Barry Seal, the Cold War smuggler legend, starring none other than Tom Cruise. But until then, have a pleasant weekend, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.